4.7 million years ago, each dawn breaking over the African savannas was a new miracle. On these lands where humanity's first steps were taken, every breath was a struggle for survival. The group leader was the most experienced hunter. His strength and intelligence made him responsible for protecting his family. The group mother was the nutrition expert. Knowing which plants were edible and which were poisonous was vital. The small child was a new member of this harsh world. Every discovery was valuable for the future of the species. The greatest strength of early hominids was the strong bonds they formed with each other. This social structure was an important feature that distinguished them from animals. Within this ecosystem, early humans were just one species. They were surrounded by predators and prey. Every morning began with the same routine: security check, food planning, and determining the day's strategy. Most of the day was devoted to searching for food. This wasn't just about sustaining life, but securing the group's future. Finding these roots could take hours, but a single large tuber could feed the family for days. The mother figure's botanical knowledge was critical to the group's survival. Understanding which fruits were ripe was a learning process that took years. 4.7 million years ago, insects were an important protein source. They could make up 30% of early hominids' diet. Finding water was even more critical than finding food. The group leader had learned to read nature's signs. Finding water meant not just quenching thirst, but also the possibility of staying in this area longer. Even such a basic need was carried out collectively and carefully. A single lack of caution could be fatal. Stone tool-making was one of the most sophisticated skills of early hominids. The first tool-making techniques began 3.3 million years ago, but simpler techniques were used much earlier. These tools weren't just auxiliary equipment, but fundamental technology that made survival possible. Sharing behavior wasn't just about feeding, but also strengthening social bonds. This behavior formed the foundations of today's humanity. These peaceful moments were very rare, but during these brief relaxation periods, social bonds were strengthened. Millions of years of evolutionary process had sharpened the group leader's senses. He knew that even the smallest abnormal sound could save lives. Saber-tooth cats were among the most deadly predators of that era. Their 15-centimeter-long teeth could kill in a single attack. The mother's maternal instincts immediately kicked in. The reflex to protect her child was more important than her own safety. This calling system, though not very advanced, was extremely effective. Group members would immediately show gathering behavior when they heard this sound. The basic rules of group defense were known by everyone. These organizational abilities were the key to survival. Every stone, every stick was a potential lifesaver. Though simple in appearance, when used as a group, they could even repel large predators. This defensive formation is also seen in modern chimpanzees. It's an evolutionary strategy, millions of years old. Even large predators would hesitate when faced with an organized group. Risk-benefit analysis wasn't unique to humans. The tactic of intimidation was both a defensive and offensive strategy. Exerting psychological pressure was a much safer method than using physical force. This victory was not just a group success, but a demonstration of humanity's early cooperative achievement. Such successes would strengthen the group's bonds. Shared danger, shared victory. Even after the danger passed, a leader's duty was to remain constantly alert. The next attack could come at any moment. The secret of survival was being able to quickly return to normal life after danger passed. Fire control was one of humanity's greatest discoveries. This power not only provided warmth, but also kept dangers at bay. The art of feeding fire was a learning process that took years. Wrong material selection could cause the flames to die out. Gathering around fire wasn't just about warmth, but was the center of social life. The birth of the first home concept. Cooking made food digestion easier and increased calorie intake, critical for brain development. This innovation was revolutionary for human intelligence. Fire turned night into day. For the first time, dark hours became a safe refuge. Hours spent in firelight played a critical role in language and communication development. The first stories were told here. The techniques developed to keep fire burning throughout the night were evidence of early technological intelligence. Night watches provided not only physical protection, but also psychological security. Every morning's rekindling of fire was a sign that the day could begin successfully. Fire control completely changed eating habits. Hot meals were vital during cold African nights. Fire knowledge transmission was humanity's most important educational process. Each generation learned and improved upon the previous one. Successful groups could bring several families together. These large communities significantly increased survival chances. The first traces of division of labor greatly increased the group's efficiency. Each individual developed their own area of expertise. Community childcare allowed parents to focus on other vital tasks. This system formed the foundation of modern societies. The knowledge of elderly group members was invaluable. This knowledge transfer was the first form of culture. Conflict resolution mechanisms were critical for the group to stay together. The roots of the first justice systems lay here. Sharing rules were highly developed among early humans. Children and pregnant women took priority. Elders were respected. This formed the moral foundations of modern societies. Language development was revolutionary in human history. These early communication forms made sharing complex thoughts possible. Group identity formation was important not only for survival, but also for psychological security. The respect and care shown to elders reflected humanity's earliest moral values. Teaching defense skills was the way to ensure the safety of future generations of the group. This strategic planning ability was one of the most important features that distinguished humans from other species. The consequences of staying in one area too long were beginning to be seen. Conservation of natural resources was a skill not yet learned. The migration decision was a life or death choice for the group. It meant risking new dangers and abandoning current security. Migration preparations were of vital importance. Everything that wouldn't be found on the road had to be planned in advance. Leaving familiar places was not only physically, but emotionally challenging. The first traces of place attachment. The migration formation reflected millions of years of evolutionary knowledge. Each individual's position was arranged to provide maximum security. Migrations were crucial for early hominids' geographical distribution. These journeys enabled the species to spread across continents, eventually covering the entire world. Finding new water sources was the most important indicator of successful migration. Hope was reborn. A comprehensive evaluation was made before settling in a new area. Every detail had an impact on survival. Settlement site selection was among the first examples of modern urban planning. Water, security, escape routes, everything was calculated. The first fire lit in new land was the symbolic moment of that place becoming home. Difficult journeys had strengthened family bonds. Hardships overcome, together increased trust. The small child had grown not only physically, but also mentally during this journey. Every experience made him stronger. The cycle of life continued. Even if the place changed, the behaviors that made humans human were maintained. His journey began 4.7 million years ago and extends to you watching today. Every breath, every step, part of humanity's great story.